Absolutely. Let's continue without pause or break, driving deeper into the mind of mastery. Now we enter the realm where most lose the game. Emotional control. Because what's the point of having a vision if your emotions hijack the journey every time the weather changes? Listen carefully. You cannot build an empire with a fragile spirit. You cannot lead your destiny with an untrained nervous system. Billionaires master their emotions not by suppressing them, but by channeling them. They don't avoid fear. They make it fuel. They don't wait to feel confident. They decide not to move anyway. They understand emotion is energy. And energy, when guided, becomes power. So how do you train your mind emotionally? You become non-reactive. You stop arguing with life. You stop flinching at failure. You stop letting the mood of a moment sabotage the mission of a decade. Because if your peace can be stolen by traffic, by a hater, by a bad email, then your greatness is still negotiable. And we don't negotiate with fear. You want to train your mind like a billionaire? Then learn to pause before you respond. Breathe before you burst. Observe before you assume. Because control of the external begins with sovereignty over the internal. That means you take back your triggers. You rewrite the meanings you attach to failure. You stop calling things bad days and start calling them training days. Every hardship you face is the gym for your character. Every breakdown is a blueprint for the next breakthrough. Don't run from pain. Study it, use it, transmute it. Because if you can harness your emotional chaos, you will become one of the rarest types of leaders in the world. Unshakable. And then, once the discipline, the clarity, the vision, the action, and the emotional mastery align, you tap into one of the most powerful and misunderstood accelerators of all: gratitude. Not the surface level, write 3 things in a journal. Kind. I'm talking about deep cellular gratitude. The kind that rewires your nervous system for abundance. Because what you appreciate, you attract more of. What you thank expands. Gratitude is not just a practice, it is a high frequency. It is the mental state of the billionaire builder, not because everything is perfect, but because they see the perfection in process. They understand every obstacle is a gift in disguise, every delay is preparation, every rejection is redirection. They are grateful not just for what they have, but for what they are becoming. Gratitude builds resilience, and resilience builds empires. Because there will be seasons that break the weak. There will be storms that drown the distracted. There will be nights where everything you built feels like it's collapsing. But if you've trained your mind like a billionaire, you don't panic. You adapt. You rise from rubble with eyes still locked on vision. You smile through loss, knowing that life subtracts to sharpen. Billionaires aren't special. They're just seasoned. They've been through more failures, more betrayals, more pivots, more pain, and they kept going. Not because it was easy, but because they had decided who they would become, long before anyone else could see it. This is what it means to train your mind like a billionaire. You build the internal architecture before the world ever sees the results. You lead yourself before anyone else follows. You keep showing up when the applause disappears. And you stay loyal to your mission when motivation dies. Because this is not about money. This is about mastery. This is about owning your mind. So no one else can. Not society. Not your fears. not your history, not even your own former self. You burn the old identity. You bury the victim. You outgrow the version of you that made excuses, and you rise. Now listen closely to this final truth. You don't get the life you wish for. You get the life your mind is trained to believe is a max, non-negotiable. So what will you accept? What will you demand? What will you become so certain of that the universe itself has no choice but to rearrange in your favor? Because you can read this, feel fired up, and go back to the same life. Or you can decide right now that this was not just another video. This was the shift. The line in the sand, the moment you stopped wishing and started becoming. Train your mind like a billionaire, and the world will never see you the same way again. Not because you told them, but because you showed them. By how you speak, by how you walk, by how you think, by how you build, by how you keep rising, even when no one's watching. The world bends to the one who commands it from within. And now, that's you.